Okay, I'm at the Allegheny National Forest. I'm about to hike the Minister Creek Trail. I think it's about 6 miles. And I am so thrilled that the sun is shining. So after many days of rain and a canceled backpacking trip, I'm thrilled to be out here in the sunshine and blue skies. Of the Ministers Creek Trail, Allegheny National Forest. It's absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous day out here too. Blue skies, gotta love that. Some really great camping spots here along the creek. So pretty. Look at that. Isn't it lovely? Beautiful. go. It's a nice cool breeze. Really lovely. There's really so many beautiful places to camp along the creek. It's really just absolute beautiful forest here. And now, here's where the trail leads me, and I'm going up there. Wish me luck. just a few short minutes later, I realized that I was pretty turned around. I had done one big loop and wound up back at the scenic overlook. So that was took me about almost an hour to realize that I was in fact kind of lost. Hi, this is edited in a week or so later because I wanted to point a few things out. I wasn't actually lost, like off-trail lost. I knew how to get back to my car if I wanted to go the way I came. If I wanted to go back, like retrace my steps, I could. The issue was it took me, like 3 hours to get where I was. So if I was going to go back the way I came, I wouldn't have made it out before dark, and that was my main concern. So if I had started this hike early in the day, I could have hiked all day and found my way out without a problem. But it was the fact that I was racing against the clock, and that's what caused the panic, because I really didn't want to be in the woods in the dark. But a few things that I wanted to add. During the video, I mentioned, the things that I should have kept in my bag. So besides the headlamp and the water filter, which really neither of them weigh much at all. I should have just left them in there. I also purchased, recently I just went out and purchased an emergency tent, which is basically like a tarp with some cord. And it's literally this big. Throw it in your pack, and I'm going to do that from now on, just in case something like this should ever happen again. And then I think the most important purchase I made was the Garmin InReach. So this gives me satellite access to anybody that I want to text, and it also has an SOS button. So if I did find myself in an emergency situation where I was really lost, couldn't find the trail, and it was dark, or I fell down and got hurt, I can SOS for help. So this is a smart purchase. I also wanted to mention that Hannah had my location on her phone. So she knew the general vicinity of where I was, and we talked about like what trail I was gonna do. But it's interesting, we never talked about what to do if I'm not home by a reasonable time, or if she can still see my location in the park when it's dark out. So when I got home, I asked her, what would you have done if you could see I was still in the park and it was past dark, late at night? And her and her boyfriend Tom, they both thought about it, and then they both said, well, I guess we would drive to the park and go find you, which is a reasonable thing to think. But the Allegheny National Forest is a 2-hour drive from me, and she didn't know this, but she would have wound up with no cell signal too. And there is no way that they would have found me in the dark in that park, even if they knew what trail I was on. So it's always important. It's great to give someone your location, but it's always important to have a plan too. So we talked about it, and I told her if anything like that should happen again, you get in touch with the park rangers, and if you can't get in touch with them, just call the police, because there's no way I would be spending the night alone in the dark, unprepared, in the national forest without telling anyone. So those are just some things that I learned. That's just some tips that I had. And my other daughter, Heather, she sent me actually a podcast about this woman that went missing on Maui in the forest. She was missing for 17 days. and she survived. This was not long ago. This was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I think. But what happened to her is she got turned around and she wound up doing a huge circle, a huge loop, and ended back where she originally got turned around. And that's what happened to me too. So it was very frustrating to be hiking and thinking you're on the right trail and then coming back to the same spot where you got a little turned around. So that podcast got me thinking, and I actually Googled and looked up that there are over 1,600 people currently in the wild missing. 1,600 people missing in the wild. That shocked me. So it happens, and best thing you can do is be prepared. I never really hiked too many places where I couldn't get some self-service, so this was a first for me. Be safe out there. Now back to the end of the hike. Thanks for watching. Tripped on a rock, fell flat on my face. I think it's because I'm tired, and I feel like Allegheny National Forest just gave me a big swift kick in the ass, saying don't go hiking by yourself without a reliable GPS or a reliable map. Message received. I'm covered in mud. I'm glad I didn't get hurt. See ya. Okay, I'm back on my car. I'm gonna have a snack, and I'm looking forward to getting in range, in cell phone range. One thing I wanted to say is, I think I've heard this before, but honestly, I've never been lost like that. And the piece of advice that came to my mind when I realized how lost I was and that the sun was going down is don't panic. Don't panic. Panicking is the worst thing that you can do. I took a minute to sort of collect myself and look at the map again and figure out what my options were. I wanted to panic. That was my originally, when I realized I was lost, I felt all this panic rise up. But then I said to myself, okay, don't panic. There's a way out. Look at the map again. So I just wanted to say that. That's my tip for getting lost. Don't panic. I'm filthy and wet and covered in mud, and I'm happy to be going home. The best part of this adventure is going home. It was a great hike, though, I have to say. I'm glad I did it. Next time I'll be more prepared.